Hello everyone, welcome back to the Academy League here at Gavra Racing. We're here for round 6, I believe it is, at Hungary for this race here tonight after a week's break. But we are back at it again, 14 drivers lining up on the grid tonight, and we're about to find out the exact order of that grid. We're going to be joined by a 16-minute qualifying session. Well, we've had 18-minute qualifying session. We've had 2 of those minutes and we've got 16 left. We've got yellow flags in the middle sector. That might have been Dutchy, by the way, on the medium compound tyres. Not good for those tyres if he wants to start the race on those tyres. Obviously, you must start the race on whatever tyre you do your fastest lap on. However, that rule could be changing for next year in F1. We'll just have to wait and see what they say about it. Yellow flags in the final sector, but I think that's just everyone letting the drivers go through. You've got Tibokkerin currently on a lap on the red striped stock tyre, purple through the first sector, being the first driver to set a time, so he's going to be setting the benchmarker for these drivers tonight. Just going to quickly check to see if my audio is up and running and it all sounds a-okay. If you can let me know in the chat as well, that would be fantastic. Tibokkerin though making his way through the tricky technical section of this track where all the time can be gained and lost. Not many overtaking chances can be made through that middle sector. If you can, it'd be quite impressive. Pinty getting in the way slightly of Tibokkerin's lap. This could hint him on the racing line, and Tibokkerin, you can see he's not very happy about that. He's kind of stopped on the track and will be getting the gap to the car in front to try and go for another lap. Unfortunate for Tibokkerin there. I don't think Pinty knew he was behind him. But we do have, I think this is, this Tootie Boy coming around the final corner, but he's on an out lap. Let's go up to Dunkin' Donuts, who will be the next driver to set a faster time. He is purple through the middle sector on the medium tyres. There we go, on the medium tyres. Going through the penultimate corner. Really awkward 180 degree left-hander before going into the final corner. Another 180 degree corner, opens up the DRS and will go to provisional pole and sets the benchmark with a 118.4. That's Nico Zora behind him on track with the DRS. Goes purple on the softs, 2 tenths quicker, which is beaten by Liam, a 17.1, 1.1 seconds quicker than Nico Zora. A few other drivers coming up to the line. Sumi going into 2nd place. Dutchy, by the way, in 5th place on those medium tyres, 19.7. Looks like he could be building up for another lap. We'll just have to wait and see. He does open the DRS and its ERS is draining, so could be going for another flying lap here. Let's have a look to see who else could be coming around the final corner. I think this is Whiskey coming up to the line, goes into 6th place on the softs with 119.1. So the benchmarker currently is a 17.1 on the soft compound tyres, but that's beaten by Pinty on the mediums after blocking, I think it was Tibokkerin's lap. Has made up for it, sort of setting a purple at that time. That's been a crash at turn 5. There's I think that's Dunkin' Donuts and Sumi off down at the exit of turn 5. I think probably one of them might have got on the curb. Both of them might have got on the curb. Duncan, though, might be trying to get out the way of other drivers, considering he's off the gravel where Hamilton went off back in 2015 or 16, I believe. So he might have had his own individual incident, getting out of the way, letting faster drivers go through. Let's have a look to see who's coming up to the line. This could be our pitter. No, it's not. It's the other white car of Liam, who goes into provisional pole position with a 116.7 on the soft compound tyres. We've already got a mixer strategy. What can Dutchy do on the mediums? Goes up into 8th place, and behind Hilstedinho and Duncan, who are both also on the mediums. Who's coming around the final corner? That's Sumi coming into the pits. We've got someone getting out of the way. I think that's not Tootie Boy. That's only one Luca Rosman. He'll be setting up for his flying lap attempt after just invalidating his previous lap. Going down the start-finish straight, braking at the 100-metre board in towards turn 1. You don't want to get onto that little bit of grey gravel on the inside. It can cause the rear to step out, opening up the DRS before making our way down towards turn 2, braking just before the 50-metre board, not hooking the inside curb on the inside. Getting on the power nice and early. You can cut as much of that inside curb to turn 3 as you can before building up in towards turn 4. Fast left-hander. You want to swing it in without taking too much curb on the inside. With too much throttle input, that can cause the car to spin. Turn 5, a really tricky corner. Same as getting on the curb, will cause the car to spin. Into the right-left chicane for 6 and 7. Negotiated nicely, taking a little bit of curb on the inside of turn 8. hooking up these S's sections quite nicely. They all link one another. If you get one right, you'll get the next. Really easy corner to lose the back end. A snap of oversteer for one Luca Rosman. Let's have a look at his middle sector. I've already missed the middle sector, sorry, that was just after. Doesn't invalidate for going wide onto the curb. He's got away with that one, going around the penultimate corner. Careful on the throttle acceleration. Throttle inputs even, going around the final corner. Turned in maybe a little bit too early. He's gone to the inside AstroTurf. Gone wide at the final corner. That doesn't invalidate his lap. Goes up into third place. Onto the second row of the grid. Tibokran, though, is on an out lap as well. We've got a few drivers coming around the final corner. Hill Cedinho's into the pits. Cyrax, though, is going to finish this lap on the soft compound tyres. Pulls over to the right-hand side of the track. Goes up into fifth, and it looked like he was trying to abort that lap, maybe to start on the mediums later on in this session. Have to wait and see. Who was it? I think it's Tibokran who's on lap as well, so we're getting on board of his lap time. Sorry, I was just checking to see if my audio was A-OK. I said I was going to check it earlier and then I completely forgot. Going through turn 5, a little bit loose on the rear, braking just as the curve starts on the left-hand side. Doesn't take the sausage curves through the chicane. That can gain you a fair bit of time, maybe a tenth or two. Has got a little bit of traffic up in front. I think that's only one Luca Rosman, but he's invalidated his lap through the middle sector. That's huge and unfortunate, and he's gone off at the fast right-hander. Really tricky corner to get right. I believe that's turn 11. He might come into the pits and bail on this lap. But hello everyone in the chat. I'm just going to go through the chat in a few moments time. Let's put someone's quality lap up on the screen. I can just go up and have a look in the chat. Hello Cryptech, hello Liam, hello Director. Welcome everyone. Cryptech saying that myself and him done a lot of this in the Premier Series, tricking people onto a different strategy. I can confirm the Ferrari master plan was in full force that season. There were some mind games going across the garages. I think it's fair to say. Cyrax aborts his lap, comes into the pits. Sumi is just under a tenth up on his time, going through the middle sector. Let's keep an eye on this lap. Keeps it all nice and under control through the chicane of turn 6 and 7 into 8 and 9. Runs wide, doesn't actually invalidate his time. Let's have a look at his sector split. Doesn't invalidate there. He's just a tenth and a half down, through the middle sector. We've got someone off through the middle sector, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this guy's new. Let me just get used to his name. That's something I take quite an embarrassing amount of time to get used to. Tistel Bitzel. Is that how you say it? I apologise, that took me way too long to try and say. We'll go with Bitzel. I think that's probably the easiest way to say your name. If you're watching the stream back and you'd like to let me know how you, because I don't want to mispronounce it during the race. Anyway, going into turn 1, Pinty actually sets the fastest lap of the session so far. Duncan has retired in the pit lane, so he won't be improving. Let's remove the UI. Braking just before the 50-meter board. Hooking up the apex quite nicely before getting on the power as soon as possible. Not deciding to cut as much of turn 3. Let's see his approach into turn 4. Does he cut the corner on the inside? Not as much, but he takes as much curb as he's willing to. He's got a bit of dirty air in front going in towards turn 5. They move over to the right hand side and pull off out of the way, braking as the curb starts on the left hand side. It's clean through turn 6 and 7. You've got yellow flags. They quickly change to green. Not sure who that is in front in the green car. I can't quite remember. I think that's Sumi, but I could be wrong. Going through turn 11 into the Kimi Raikkonen drifting area for overtakes. The most awkward corner on this track, I find. The penultimate corner. Really easy to get on the power too early and understeer off wide off the track, but also really easy not to get on the power at all and just lose so much time. Ran wide at the final corner, doesn't invalidate, moves up into second place on the front row of the grid, 3/10 behind Pinty. your current provisional pole sitter, who's done a 1 minute 16.1 on the soft compound tyres, and actually decides to come into the pits. Dubokeren is coming around turn 5. Dutchy, by the way, up to the line. Doesn't improve. He's 2.5 seconds down. Might be trying to go for it again here on the medium tyres. He's already done 3 laps on those tyres, so they're going to be slightly worn compared to the guys around him. Our pitter coming around the final corner is actually going to Bell come into the pits. Only one Luca Rosman has invalidated on his time. What about Tutti Boy coming around the final corner? He's on the mediums as well in his golf-themed F1 car. Opens up the DRS up to the line. Can he improve? Doesn't improve. He's 10 seconds off the pace. Could be going for another lap here. Yes, Cryptech, that is exactly why I'm going to be calling him Witzel. Because, you know, in the heat of the moment, I might just get a bit excited and mispronounce something. Anyway, Dubokeren has actually gone on provisional pole with 2/10 quicker than Pinty with a 1 minute 15.9. Let's have a look actually at the championship standings as things stand. I thought I had this up ready, but I've just loaded up the website. Pinty is actually leading the championship on 94 points by Skeldog, who is in second place, who's not here for tonight's race. Unfortunately, someone stopped in the pit lane. That is actually Witzel, maybe doing a practice start in the pit lane. Let's have a look to see who's on the lap. Dutch is actually coming up to the line, but has invalidated and has done 4 laps on those mediums. I think it's time to bail on this strategy, unfortunately. Maybe try and get a timing on the softs, because he hasn't got the battery deployment to go for it again. Tutti Boy is 2/10 down through the middle sector. What can he find through the final, through corners? Let's get back to the championship real quickly. It's actually Piatti in 3rd place, but I don't think he's here tonight either. So big points to be gained for Pinty in this race. Dubokeren lies in 4th place, can gain some big points on his championship rivals. Currently on provisional pole here in Hungary. Then it's Hilstadinho, Liam, only one Luca Rosman, Tutti Boy and Registar, who round out the top 10 in the championship. Hilstadinho is actually purple through the middle sector. This could be a quick lap from the Norwegian driver if he can hook it up. He's only got 1 corner to go, where Carlos Sainz had his incident. We've got a beautiful shot of the rear wing, but well, we're going to see it open up the DRS. He doesn't actually open up the DRS till quite late, and improves by 1.1 seconds. Goes up into 5th place behind Liam, and we'll start on the 3rd row of the grid. Evening Sectify and Piero in the chat. Hello, welcome. We've still got 3.5 minutes left of qualifying. We've got Sumi, who is about to start his flying lap. There's only one Luca Rosman on a lap. Let's have a look at his sector split through the first sector. He's 1.9 seconds down. I don't see him improving. We've got our Peter and Liam both on out laps. Nico Zora is invalidated. So I think Sumi is going to be the next car, unless Whiskey, he's 3/10 up on his time. Let's have a look at Whiskey's lap as he's going through turn 4 in towards turn 5 now. You don't want to get on the inside curve. That can cause the back end to snap out. Negotiates turn 6 and 7 well. Maybe went a little bit too deep in towards the initial part of turn 6. Each little right and left kink here and yeses all feed into one another. Get one wrong and it's so easy to lose a lot of time. Let's have a look at his middle sector. He's 7/10 up on his time. This could be a good lap from him. Has set a 19.1. That could be possibly a banker lap. We've got someone off. I think that's Witzel off at turn 4. Go around the penultimate corner. He doesn't have much battery to play with, but there's only 1 corner to go. Will prepare himself for the start finish straight. Runs wide, doesn't invalidate. Opens the DRS. Where's it going to be? It goes up into 9th place. Improves by 9/10 with an 18.2. I've just realised I went through the entire grid to get to Sumi, who then comes into the pits. We've got Pinty on a lap as well. He's almost 4/10 up going around the final corner. Can he knock Dubokeren off provisional pole? Yes, he can. It's a 15.8 and goes a 10th clear of one of his championship rivals. What can Cyrax do on the mediums? He goes up into 7th place with a 17.8, improves by a 10th on his lap time. I think we've got Witzel, who's starting one of his flying laps. This could be his final lap of the session. I can't see how long's left. We've got 1 minute 50, I think that was, before the yellow flags were deployed. I think that's Cyrax letting only Tutti Boy go through, who is on the medium tyres. Was that someone off? I thought I saw someone off through turn 5. Could be yellow flags or somewhere, I'm not too sure. I think that's Liam. It is Liam going up into 3rd place, knocking Witzel off 3rd position with a 16.4. And how close this grid is tonight. So we're going to see some interesting strategies as well. Let's have a look to see what their best time is. Well, the top 7 all on the soft compound tyres. So this could make things interesting indeed. Strategies in the past have usually been medium to hard. However, on this year's game, I believe a soft to hard is possible without too much tyre degradation and tyre loss. Sumi has retired. I think this is Witzel either making a mistake or letting Cyrax go through. Whiskey coming into the pits and will no longer be participating in this qualifying session. The same with Pinty. Only one Luca Rosman is going through the middle sector, but Tutorboy coming around the final corner. Can he improve from 12th place? Backs out of it at the end. That could be his qualifying over as well. Yellow flags in the first sector. That's Sumi's car retiring from this session. Cyrax is coming around the final corner. He's 20 seconds off of his personal best and will be starting his final lap on the medium compound tyres. The yellow striped tyre. Witzel coming up to the line. He doesn't improve. He's preparing himself for his final lap as well. 15 seconds left to go in the session. It's going to be tight to see if some of these drivers make it through to the line. Only one Luca Rosman makes it. What about Hilstedinho? Is he going to make it with 3 seconds left to go? He is going to make it. There is, you can see the checkered flag hasn't been waved next to the driver's name, which means he has made it and will be able to go out for another lap. I think that's Cyrax retiring from the session. He can't improve either more there anymore. Sorry, those are the checkered flags being waved for 4 of the drivers to have retired. Is this only one Luca Rosman? No, it's not. It's Tutorboy coming around the final few corners. Can he improve? No, he doesn't. He's backing off of this lap on the medium tyres. Will start no higher than 12th place. We've got Witzel on a lap though, going through the middle sector. Let's have a look at his sector splits. He's just under 2 tenths down on his personal best. Yellows, that is Cyrax through turn 4 in the middle sector. But our attention's on Witzel. I think this is his first race in the championship. Going around the final corner, he's on the soft compound tyres. Hasn't got as much ERS to play with. He opens up the DRS up to the line. Doesn't improve. Stays in 4th place for now. Sorry, that's... Who is that on track? Is that Tutorboy? No, it's only one Luca Rosman retiring. I think this is Liam going into the pits. What about our pitter? He stays out on the softs. Currently in 7th place, opens the DRS. Can he improve? He does improve and goes ahead of only one Luca Rosman. Goes up into 6th place. Hilstedinho goes into the pits. And I believe that is qualifying over. We just got Cyrax coming into the pits now. But that is going to be it. That is qualifying over here in Hungary. It's Pinty on pole position, followed by Tabokarin in 2nd. Liam in 3rd. Witzel on his debut will join him on the 2nd row of the grid. Hilstedinho will start in 5th place with our pitter in 6th. Only one Luca Rosman in 7th place, with Cyrax starting in 8th, the highest of the medium runners. Whiskey will start in 9th place and Sumi will start in 10th place. Just outside the top 10 we have Nico Zora, Tutorboy, Duncan and Dutchy, by the way. We're all going to have a free choice of tyre for today's race. Strategy is going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see what these drivers do tonight and whether we're going to see... I reckon we'll see some diverse tyre choices, especially for those starting outside the top 10. Those are a reminder of your starting grid. Here it is once again. We've got 14 drivers in the lobby, so thankfully we actually don't have to scroll down to see anyone else's time. It's all there for you to see on the screen. 2.7 seconds separating the front to the back of the grid, but it is so close in that midfield. So much time can be gained and lost at this track, even though it's a 1 minute 15 lap time track. It's fairly short, often compared to Monaco, but without the barriers, which makes overtaking slightly difficult. The main overtaking opportunities, turn 1, turn 2, and possibly down at turn 12, where Kimi Räikkönen showed us his rally skills when overtaking the Sauber of, I believe, Felipe Nasr back in 2015. But this track, well, it could rain. It could rain. It's one of those tracks where you might think there could be rain, but unfortunately, well, it's dry. I say unfortunately, at least we're going to see some overtaking. But let's just waiting for everyone to select their setups, adjust their strategies, and then we'll be on the formation lap preparing for the race. Let's hear some predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think is going to come out on the top step of the podium after 35 laps of Hungary? Looking at the previous race results, no one has won more than 2 races in a row. That was Skeldog who won 2 in Bahrain and Portugal last 2 weeks ago. Race winner was Pinty, who is on provisional pole position. Piatti and Subokaran are the only other 2 drivers to finish on the top step this season. We've had 6 drivers who have finished on the podium. Let's see if we're going to get a 7th, an 8th, and possibly even a 9th after 35 laps here tonight. Let's get everything back up on the screen. Well, I was talking about strategy earlier, and there you go. We've got quite a fair bunch of different drivers on different tyres. The top 10, apart from Cyrax, all on the soft compound tyres. Cyrax on the mediums in 8th place, will be going longer than those on the softs without any change of a safety car. Nico Zora and Hootie Boy, the only 2 on the hard compound tyres. Duncan and Dutchy join Cyrax on the medium. Starting on the medium is, well, it gives you the option to go for soft or hard later on, possibly even just soft, dependent on obviously virtual safety cars and safety cars. We'll just have to wait and see. Damage as well, you could get damage early on. Let's have some track facts for you today about this beautiful track in Hungary. It's 4.381 kilometers long, usually 70 laps, but we're doing a 50% race. Pole position obviously on the left hand side, and well, max speeds of up to 315 kilometers per hour. It's about 600 meters in the run towards turn 1, and these drivers will be full throttle about 50% of the lap. And the downforce level is of course high. It's practically Monaco, but without the barriers either side of the track. We're just waiting for everyone to pull up onto their respective grid slots, and then we should be able to get this race underway. We're going to remove the UI. Actually, we're going to keep the leaderboard up because I struggle with names, so we'll just get everything gone for now, and then we can see everything and just have the leaderboard on. So here we go then. We are going to be building to the 5 red lights here in Hungary. The lights are counting down. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go, and it's a good start for the top 2. Pinty gets away well, but Subokaran gets away even better, and is into the lead of this race, going down the inside in towards turn 1. Witzel's going to follow him through. Someone's late on the brakes, and I think that's our pitter spinning round, sending Witzel with him down at turn 1. Bottas-like style in towards turn 1, but the leaders get away unscathed. Liam slots into 3rd place. Meanwhile, down the back, I think these drivers are just still recovering from that earlier incident. We got Nico Zora down the inside to the inside of our pitter. There's contact, and I think that's our pitter off into the wall. He's been able to keep it fairly out of the barriers, going onto the grass. Cyrax almost rear-ending Tootie Boy down at turn 5. But the top 3 getting away well. I think 3 drivers, though, involved in a turn 1/3 incident. And it is Subokaran who leads the way, but he's being put under pressure from Pinty towards turn 10 and 11. And it is Subokaran who leads this race. Let's get everything back up on the screen so we can see what's going on. And look at the start from Tootie Boy all the way up into 6th place. Witzel definitely being the loser in the first opening lap. Yellow flags, he's also lost it again down at turn 8. The predicted pit stop strategies are on the screen for you, ladies and gentlemen, to see. but the gap's starting to open up a little bit as well. Hilstadinho just dropping off the back of Liam. DRS is so important around this track if you're to go for a move. Here goes Cyrex, though, looking for a move on Tutiboy, who defends the inside line, squeezes Cyrex back over to the racing line. Hard but fair racing. Arpita getting the move done on Nico Zora around the outside of turn 1. Lovely stuff there. Here's Cyrex trying to prepare for a move on Tutiboy, almost pushing him through turn 2 on lap 2, going towards turn 3. And we'll have to settle in behind, gets a massive snap of oversteer, and that's a massive crash for Cyrex. He's lost his front left tyre. That might be a safety car, and it is a virtual safety car after 2 laps. A huge snap of oversteer, and he's out of this Hungarian Grand Prix after 2 laps. That car is in a dangerous position. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets upgraded to a full safety car. We'll just have to wait and see. Full course yellows on the track as shown. Bitster's going to take this opportunity to come into the pits, riding on board with only one Luca Rosman. We'll see in a minute. Just the stranded car, Cyrex there, who does disappear. So we're going to get back racing fairly shortly. I wonder if any of the leaders are going to come into the pits and take advantage of this virtual safety car, go into the hard or possibly medium tyres. It doesn't look like anyone's coming into the pits. People asking in the chat, did he make a mistake? Yes, it was a huge snap of oversteer on the exit of turn 3. Possibly, my best bet is he took too much curb on the inside, and that's what caused the rear to step out. Really easy to do. The same with turn 4 as well. We've still got the virtual safety car. Our pitter is actually coming into the pits to take advantage of this safety car. Hards will be a stretch to the end, but it might not be impossible. DRS has been enabled by the stewards, and we're back under green flag racing here at the Hungaroring. Stibokarin, who leads, followed by Liam. Hilstadinho, Whiskey are your top 5, followed by Tutiboy running in 6th place on the white striped hard compound tyres, the hardest tyre available for this weekend. Duncan trying to be opportunistic in towards turn 5. When he gets close as he can to Sumi, try and maybe prepare a move for the next lap on the medium tyre. Someone's gone off. There goes braking board. I'm not sure who that was. I don't know if that was Sumi or if it was someone like Dutchy in front. That was a really weird accident. I think that, I'm not sure who that was. Sumi, though, has picked up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And there's Dutchy down the inside. That's late, and he's round at turn 12, sorry. That was a very late lunge. Hasn't paid off. No need for a safety or virtual safety car. Has got it facing in the right direction. But it's Stibokarin who leads, sets the fastest lap of the race. The gap's just starting to open up a bit. A few mistakes being made. Here goes Duncan putting alongside Sumi in towards turn 1. It's now ahead, going into the braking zone with the aid of DRS. Should be comfortably down the inside of Sumi and gets the move done up into 7th place. And we'll have the DRS on exit to aid and help his advantage maintain 7th place here on lap 4. Meanwhile, that gap out in front has come down to 0.3 of a second between Pinty and Stibokarin. They're starting to drop Liam's a little bit, 1.2 seconds separating those guys. We've got yellow flags, and that's Sumi off at turn 5. He's probably got on the inside curb unless he's made contact with someone, but he's got it facing in the right direction. His tyres are definitely going to be cooked, so he just needs to keep it cool and consistent, keep it nice and slow for the next lap and allow those tyres to cool down. A few mistakes being made earlier, maybe a little bit of rust kicking in from the week's break from last week at Silverstone, which was absolutely amazing. Probably one of the best races we've had here in the Academy. Silverstone providing great races all week. But Stibokarin, he's got Pinty closing in right behind him. He's gaining and gaining all the time. Going into turn 1, he's going to go for it down the inside. Stibokarin doesn't defend. It's hard but fair racing in towards turn 1. Can Pinty keep it on the inside? We can't see the cars. There they go through turn 1 in towards turn 2, and Stibokarin maintains first place. But look how much Liam's caught up. He's gained a whole second on that last lap. Here's Dutchy and Nico Zora going side by side towards turn 1. Dutchy goes for it down the inside, gets the move done up into 8th place. And then Nico Zora though going to try the switchback, but I couldn't quite pull off. Dutchy putting his car in all the right places, not allowing him to get through. Tutiboy getting close up behind Whiskey. who's dropping 3.5 seconds behind Hilstedinho. The gaps in the midfield starting to open up a little bit to the gaps to the front three. Looks like Liam might have made a slight mistake, or probably being affected by the dirty air. He's almost outside the DRS range of the top two, who are separated by 0.3 of a second. Just trying to read what people are saying in the chat at the same time. I was trying to capture all the action out on the track. But we're about to end at lap 5, start lap 6 of 35. Pinty, though, is going to have the DRS advantage, get given the 20 kilometres per hour extra straight line speed. We've got someone off, I think that's Duncan off at the penultimate corner. Here goes to Pinty, though, to the outside. Tabokran defends the inside line. He's late on the brakes and is able to keep the lead of the race. Squeezes Pinty off onto the curb. He's going to have the DRS and the inside line. Tabokran pulls back over to the racing line, but there's contact between him and Pinty, who thankfully goes to avoid contact with Liam. But they're an interesting collision there. Looks like Tabokran's kind of turned in a little bit too early, and that's Pinty down into 4th place. Your championship leader has now got some work to do. Someone's off. That's Witzel off at turn 7. No safety car needed. He's got it back facing in the right direction. But this is now going to be a test for Pinty to see if he can close down that 8.7 second gap to the race leader. A few accidents on track early on in this race. Maybe a bit of rusties kicking in from the week's break. Hungary and Silverstone, definitely two very different tracks. But in terms of the likelihood of getting time penalties for corner cutting, fairly similar in my opinion. Let's get that back to the interval gaps. As gap's starting to open up a little bit. Duncan's trying to come back through the field after his spin at the penultimate corner. I don't know if there was contact or if he just dropped it by himself. Might have got on the inside curb, which is really common to do around this track. And that is Whiskey into the pits for an undercut on the soft tyres. Maybe on a 2-stop strategy, we'll have to wait and see. Here goes Duncan, though, has the DRS. He's using some overtake in the run down towards turn 1. Nico Zora doesn't defend the inside line. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Duncan down the inside, and Nico Zora gets the move done. A little bit of oversteer on exit, but we'll have the DRS to aid his position. I don't think Nico Zora wanted to fight that one too much, being on the hard compound tyres. Pinty, though, is already caught up to the back of Hilstedinho and will try to get himself on the podium. He actually goes for it down the inside and towards turn 6. That Hilstedinho looked like he let him through. Might have had a bad exit, though, through turn 5. If so, Pinty capitalising on an opportunistic move. And the hunt is on. 8.6 seconds is the gap to the race leader after colliding a few laps ago. Witzel has just been lapped by second place runner Liam in this race. He'll be hoping not for a safety car just yet. Mind you, he is on the hard, so unless the front guys pit, which they do, Liam is into the pit, negotiates it, almost kind of looked like he got on the curb there. I thought he was going to lose it like Cryptek done a few seasons ago. But is into the pits. Pinty follows him in. Tabokran is the only one who stays out and will probably be reacting at the end of this lap. It's mediums for Liam. That could be a 2-stop. What is it for Hilstedinho? It's also mediums. Pinty's onto the hard compound tyres. That could be a 1-stop. That could be a 1-stop for Pinty. The rest appear to be 2-stopping. Going on to a set of the yellow striped medium tyres. Yellow flags in sector 1. And there you can see why Witzel not having the best of debuts here at Hungary. Mind you, Schumacher didn't have the best of debuts either in, I believe it was Spa, where his clutch broke. And then he became a 7-time world champion, considered one of the GOATs of Formula 1, along with many other drivers. Thank you to everyone who's currently watching. Currently 8 laps into this Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got yellow flags through the middle sector. Not sure why. I think that could be Witzel letting people go through. He doesn't have a front wing. That could be why there are yellow flags. Severe lack of downforce, which is not what you want, especially at a track like Hungary. Maybe Monza. Mind you, Saudi Arabia did come out tonight. I wonder who has been driving around that track. Let me know what your opinions are in the comments. But Tutti Bockelin is into the pits, and that promotes Tutti Boy up into the lead of the race. Started down in 12th or 13th, I believe. Let's have a look at biggest gainers and losers in this race. Tutti Boy up 11, Duchy up 11 as well. Duncan up 8 positions. However, those drivers have not yet made a pit stop, but are still running in high contention for the end of the race. And you're already making a good point in the chat, which is something I mentioned earlier. Codemasters, I actually respect Codemasters for building Saudi Arabia. You know, they built the track, or they built a track that technically doesn't exist. Obviously it does exist, the layout is there, but it hasn't even been finished. How? Because, you know, normally you'd go to a track, you would laser scan it, get all the blah-de-blah and the who, the what's it's, but Codemasters, they've had to do all the scenery effectively by themselves, because it's just a track, it's just a layout, there's no tarmac at the minute. So congrats to Codemasters. It does actually feel, it's actually really nice to drive on this game, and I can't wait to see it in a league race. I think it's going to be so much fun. It kind of gives me vibes of Monza and Singapore, high speed, left and right, followed by a few medium speed corners. Meanwhile, Duchy is under significant amount of pressure from both Liam and Duncan, who has made a pit stop. Duncan, on 8-lap old medium tyres. We're trying to keep up with Liam while he's on those fresh mediums, but for his strategy to work, he needs to put the foot down and pull away from those one-stoppers so he can come into the pits for his second stop and still have an advantage. But here he goes to the outside of Duchy, who doesn't fight this one, and it moves up into third place on the track. Looked like a comfortable move with the aid of the DRS. What about Duncan? Is he too far behind? He's about 6 tenths behind Duchy, so won't be going for anything in towards turn 2. Here goes Nico Zora looking for a move on Hilstedinho. They almost look like teammates, both running in black cars, which is really confusing about the Academy League, because I see 2 black dots on the map and I'm like, oh, that's Hilstedinho, could be Nico Zora. There are 2 orange dots, 2 yellow dots, 2 white dots, 2 green dots, 2 red dots. It's almost like they planned to be teammates, and Duchy has been overtaken by Duncan. Not sure what happened there. Might have been a mistake, or might have been a really good move from Duncan. I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, I missed that one. Here goes only one Luca Rosman, though, looking for a move on Whiskey towards turn 6 and 7, getting a little bit too close. And the only one Luca Rosman has underfueled his car, also hit the back of Whiskey, who then goes deep in towards turn 9. And only one Luca Rosman gets the move done up into 10th place. But you can see on the telemetry, the yellow fuel warning light is on, meaning he's under 0 laps of fuel. Liam has set the fastest lap of the race. Yellow flags. That's why there's our pitter on the right hand side, almost hitting Whiskey, and thanks for the ghosting system there, as Duchy re-overtakes Duncan with the aid of DRS going in towards turn 1. But it is really hard to save fuel in this game. It's going to be tough for only one Luca Rosman, who might be banking on a safety car. New Jay saying they rather should focus on fixing all the bugs, but to be fair, they're doing a much better job, in my opinion, compared to last year's game. They fixed the lights glitch, they fixed all the career mode glitches, they fixed the being kicked out of lobby glitches. They have fixed a lot of glitches since the start of the game, and I know there's probably those people who are going to say, well, they shouldn't have the glitches in the first place, but we have to be honest, every game is going to have some sort of bug. At least one game-breaking bug, and that's Witzel out of the race, and it looks like he's dropped it at turn 2, and that is a safety car, a full-course safety car here on lap 11, and medium and hard runners could come into the pits, put on a set of the hard or the medium tyres, and well, this is going to be good for Pinty's race to come back into this, because all the drivers can now bunch up, but we have a safety car. Gav's asking, what do you think about Jeddah? I like it as a track, and the thing I have about the track, I don't think it's going to be good in real life, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think the game could provide good racing. You see it, I'll get back onto that in a second. Just going back to the pit stops, 2 of the boys into the pits, Liam, Duchy, Duncan into the pits, Nico Zora into the pits as well. Our pitters also into the pits, taking the opportunity of this safety car, promoting Toboccarin and Pinty as the 1-2 in this race after they crashed earlier on in the race. What I think about Jeddah, I think it's going to be good in the game, because the game promotes better overtaking than real life. Because, you know, you see in league races, France provides good racing, Abu Dhabi provides good racing, Russia provides good racing. I think it's going to be one of those tracks. Sumi actually picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Obviously, you've got to keep your delta positive, otherwise you will be awarded a drive through, which you have to serve once the safety car has come into the pits and within 3 laps of receiving it. James Brewer asking, is Jeddah a Merc or Red Bull track? That's interesting, because after Brazil, I would say it's a Merc track considering their straight line speed advantage. The same with Qatar. I think Qatar and Jeddah could be Mercedes tracks. Qatar, I think, definitely is a Mercedes track. Jeddah, I think it's going to be closer. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just pay our attention to the weather. I commented on this last week at Silverstone, or the week before, and then it dried up instantly, and then brightened up instantly. Get your clouds out, because the final corner is looking a little bit darker than the first sector. I mean, I don't think it's going to rain, but it just adds a little bit of spice to the race. You know, you never know. Even just a slight implication that rain could be on the way is enough to get everyone hyped up and excited for the remaining 23 laps of the race. We're already 13 laps in. Sumi and our pit are coming into the pits. I think Sumi thinks you can serve a drive-through under the safety car. Unfortunately, you can't. Could be a scheduled pit stop, though I could be wrong. Yeah, you never brake. You don't often brake for Jeddah. Turn 1, the final corner, they're probably the 2 best overtaking opportunities. I think it's turn 27. 27 corners making up the streets of Jeddah. But from what I've heard, I think too many people judge a track by what country it's in. Because, for example, if you had Silverstone in Saudi Arabia and Jeddah in the UK, then, you know, you'd say, oh my god, Saudi Arabia is such a good track, blah de blah. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Obviously that's just my point of view, but yeah, I think it's quick to criticise a track based off its location. Anyway, besides that, we have the safety car in this lap, and we will get racing underway to start lap 14 of 35. We've had 2 laps under the safety car after Witzel lost it at turn 2. Bachmann becomes the de facto safety car. The red Mercedes pulls into the pits, and when does he go? We can see his throttle input on the bottom of the screen. He hasn't gone. Now he's gone, and Pinty's been caught napping here, because here goes Tweety Boy down the start-finish straight. He's capitalising on this restart as much as he can on those fresh medium compound tyres. Pinty defends the inside line. He's later on the brakes, and Tweety Boy, who's going to try and hold it round the outside and towards turn 1. And can he make this one stick? They're still going to go good to run down towards turn 2. I think that starts getting ahead of Whiskey. Tweety Boy has to back out of that one. Here goes Whiskey defending the inside line from Duncan behind. He's going to try and work it around the outside on those fresh, hard compound tyres. Might not be up to speed. Here goes Sumi to the inside of our pitter. Hold that round the outside beautifully. I thought that was going to be a monumental accident on the exit of turn 3, but they both come out of it unscathed. Duncan's been caught napping slightly on this restart, 1.6 seconds behind only one Luca Rosman, who's done 11 laps on those medium tyres and will have to make another pit stop in this race. But a clean safety car restart for the top runners. Everyone further down the rest of the field as well, battling away for 8th place. Whiskey just putting ahead of Dutchy putting ahead of Whiskey by 1.2 seconds from this restart, but has Duncan quite close behind, only 0.2 to be exact. Meanwhile, Bachmann leads this race after the safety car restarts. We'll be under pressure though from Pinty. The DRS won't be enabled just yet. We've got to wait a few more laps though for that to be enabled. It's up to ERS, and we've got someone retired at the final corner. Have they crashed in the pit lane? No, it's not. It's the final corner. We've got a virtual safety car which has been upgraded to a full course safety car. Whiskey's dropped it at the final corner, similarly to how Vettel's done it in 2014, I believe. And is that rain? There's rain! There is rain, ladies and gentlemen. We've got rain here on lap 15 out of 35 under a safety car. Is it going to rain enough for drivers to pit under the intermediates? You can see the dots flashing on the screen. This will make things interesting. I said it was cloudy. We're almost halfway through this race, and we have rain. Just what we want, safety car and rain. Is it time for renters? This could be why only one Luca Rosman pitted for medium so early and not under the safety car. Maybe he knew the rain was coming. If so, I'm surprised that Pinty and Tibocco decided to go for the hards than the mediums. But they might not have known how long the rain's going to come down for, because it might just be this. It might not get heavier. We'll just have to wait and see. There seems to be some traffic jam, 25 traffic jam on the back of the grid. We've got a penalty for only one Luca Rosman. 5 seconds for collision that could be removed by the stewards. Does anyone pit? Does anyone pit for intermediates? Tibocco's in. It's intermediate time. You can tell by the visuals on the track. You can see the dots kind of on the track, which is more of an indication for rain. Tootie Boy is the only one who stays out. Duncan follows. Is that Nico Zora staying out? It is. 3 drivers are gambling on the slicks. But a key time to know when it's inters, if you can see riding on board, you can see the dots on the track. That is when it's time for the intermediates, and you can just see Nico Zora on the softs is struggling alone. You can just see the understeer into turn 2. I think these guys will be into the pits. You can see the track conditions are already wet. Maybe it can be going to full wets. We'll just have to wait and see. That would definitely add... I mean, imagine that using all 5 compounds of tyre in a race. The rest of the race probably will be done on these intermediate tyres. Although, yeah, actually, if it was raining from the start, you'd be in from lap 17, 16. So we're on lap 16 now. We're under the safety car, so there won't be as much wear. But if it doesn't rain enough, then the tyres could start to overheat. We'll just have to wait and see. But it does appear to be raining quite significantly for the intermediate tyres to be in use. How quickly the track has gotten so wet, I think it's the only fair way to put it. It's only been about half a lap, maybe 75% of a lap, and it's already changed so quickly. But that's the thing I like about this game's wet weather. It can be so unpredictable, just like real life. It can be so unpredictable. The rain can start raining, and it could be inters straight away or wet, or it could start raining, but not quite get to that wet period for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps, which is what I do like about the wet weather in this game. Tibocco then takes the lead of this race after the gamble for slicks didn't work for the 3 drivers who stayed out. They are all into the pits. Tootie Boy in for the wet compound tyres. That is a bold choice. I don't think it's raining that much, but if he knows something we don't, it could turn out to be a godlike strategy. We'll have to see how much time. A good indication is how they fare under the safety car as well. I know we're not under full speed, but if we can ride on board with Duncan, it'll give us a good indication. And, well, he's not gaining on Sumi. I know it's early on, but look at that gap, 5.7 seconds. I know the guys ahead are under the safety car. Well, I mean, Duncan's keeping up with him. I know it's a safety car and it's hard to tell, but I don't think it's time for wets yet. Maybe in real life, because it's slightly different in real life. The game kind of has 2 distinct weather conditions. You have winters and wets, whereas in real life, even the driest of wet... Wait, that doesn't make sense. Even the lightest of rain could appear to be enough for the wet tyres. Obviously, it's different with the spray in real life and the standing water, aquaplaning and the track service, etc., etc. We could even get the safety car in. No, we can't, because it hasn't been out for 2 laps yet. That is... Oh, no, we can. It has been out for 2 laps, because it came out in lap 15. It's a late call from the safety car, but it's going to be coming in this lap. And Bokkerin is going to lead the field away. He's caught up to the back of the safety car and he's been given the delta. That could have implications on the car behind. But it's green flag racing once again here on lap 18. We've had about the past 5 laps under the safety car due to separate incidents. But it's Bokkerin who leads the way. We've got Nico Zora going wheel to wheel with only one Luca Rosman going into turn 1. Dutchy's had it off at turn 1. Dutchy's gone off, and that's Nico Zora deep in towards turn 1. It's 3 wide between Tootie Boy Duncan, whose span has been collected by only one Luca Rosman. I think that was yellow flags in the first sector. Nico Zora's had enough. Duncan, Dutchy as well, not getting used to the wet conditions. We got Liam closely behind Hilstedinho, who might go for a move in towards turn 4, but not quite close enough. But Liam's going to send one. Sorry, our pitter's going to send one on Liam. That was a beautiful move from our pitter, fully committed to the inside. Got the move done up into 4th place. Apologies for not getting the best of camera angles there. Tootie Boy and only one Luca Rosman now going wheel to wheel, wets versus intermediates. It looks like the intermediates just have more grip in this wet stage of the race. Tootie Boy down to 8th place. We'll see how he fares against Dutchy, but he's already starting to lose time compared to only one Luca Rosman. Meanwhile, Dutchy trying to get ahead of Tootie Boy after his spin down at turn 1. Those wets really not working for Tootie Boy. He's losing so much time to only one Luca Rosman. Is Dutchy going to send one down at turn 12? Yes, he is, late on the brakes. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. He's up into 8th place. And we'll be hunting down the 4-second gaps. Only one Luca Rosman. 1.5 seconds now separating the front 2, and a further 1.5 to Hilstedinho. Looks like Bokkerin has the pace advantage in the early phase of this race compared to Pinty. A lot of weaving going down the start-finish straight as our pitter sends one down the inside of Hilstedinho, who goes deep in towards turn 1, loses the back end slightly. That could give Liam the chance to go for a move down the inside and towards turn 2. He's alongside, going into the braking zone. There's contact. There's Tokyo drift halfway through turn 2, but is able to keep it on the track. They're now going to go wheel to wheel through turn 3, where Cyrax had his lap 1 incident. They're still going to go wheel to wheel like Hamilton and Alonso up the hill and towards turn 4, and it's Hilstedinho who has to back out of that one. Liam gets the move done up into 4th place and can hunt down our pitter for a podium finish. A snap of oversteer for Hilstedinho on the exit of turn 5, but does well not to lose it. There goes Duncan ahead of Nico Zora. Witzel has left the session after retiring earlier down at the exit of turn 1, bringing out the first safety car. And that's Duncan losing it at turn 7 in the traction zone, and he's spent spinning on these intermediates. Only yellow flags deployed, no safety car needed, no debris, no stranded car in the middle of the racetrack. Good restart, I'd say. We've had a little bit of skill contact in this race, but Pinty has actually closed down that gap now by 6 tenths and is now 8 tenths behind your race leader. It's gone slightly up going down the straights. Maybe try to get used to these wet track conditions. I said at the start, this track is known for throwing a surprise with its weather, and we've been gifted with a dynamic race. Here goes only one Luca Rosman trying to get the move for 6th place. He has Sumi in front of him occupying that position. Tootie Boy going into the pits and deciding he's had enough of the wet compound tyres and be going on to a set of the intermediates instead. Going through turn 3, looks like only one Luca Rosman could be running more downforce. It just seems to have more grip through that corner. He seems to have a little bit more confidence in these wet weather conditions. He hits the back of Sumi going through turn 5. That's going to allow him to go down the inside in towards turn 5, in towards turn 6 now. They're going to go wheel to wheel through the chicane. Only one Luca Rosman's then going to have the outside line. Sumi has to cut the corner. And is he off? No, he's not off. They're still going wheel to wheel. Sumi gets the move done down the inside. I was just a bit confused why the camera angle didn't pan onto Sumi's car on the exit of turn 7. But he gets the move, maintains 6th place for now. But this fight's not over yet. Here goes only one Luca Rosman. He's got a good run through turn 11. He's going to send one down the inside in towards turn 12. Can he make this one stick? You bet he can. Up into 6th place and can now hunt down 5-second gap to Hilstedinho in front. But will be under pressure from Sumi. He's not going to want to give this position up without a fight. But he has dropped a little bit behind already. 1.7, 1.8 seconds. Might have a little bit of front wing damage. Or some sort of side pod damage potentially. There's no way you can just lose that much time so quickly without an obvious mistake. That gap out in front has come down to now 8, 9 tenths, kind of fluctuating but in that sort of region. But they have got a 5-second advantage over our pitter behind, who's defending from Liam and Hilstedinho. The closest battles on the racetrack currently happening for the final podium position. But we're on lap 21 of 35 here at the Hungaroring for round 6 of the Academy Season 5. Hello, welcome to everyone who is just tuning in. Thank you to those who have also been here from the start and those regulars who turn up week in, week out. Yeah, it's great seeing your support in the chat. We're now down to 11 drivers in this race. 3 unfortunate retirees. Our pitter runs wide through turn 11. That could leave him vulnerable to Liam, but he's not close enough to go for a move down at turn 1. We lost Cyrax on the second lap down on the exit of turn 3. We lost Witzel on the exit of turn 1, and we lost Whiskey on the exit of the final corner. Bringing out 1 BFC and 2 safety cars in that order. As we now start lap 22. That gap out in front is now down to 7 tenths. What's happened here between Nico Zora and Duncan, who are going wheel to wheel. Duncan down the inside of Nico Zora and towards turn 12. He gets the move down up into 9th place and gain an extra point in his championship fights. That gap out in front is coming down. 8 tenths of a second between the front two. They collided early on in this race. Down at turn 2. Let's hope the same events don't happen again. Otherwise, it's not going to end well for one or both drivers, as they're leaning towards the latter stages of this race. Lots of Brazilian fans in the crowd in the background cheering on for their Brazilian drivers, but I don't think we have any Brazilian drivers on the track. If anyone on the drive, there might be some Brazilian heritage somewhere along the line. It's good to see the fans still cheering away. They've got their umbrellas up and are enjoying the race as much as we are. As Liam is closing onto the back of our pitter, he's keeping that gap around 7-6 tenths, but tricky to overtake around the track in the drive, let alone the wet, where the DRS advantage is taken away, and you have to do it either through the corners or down the straights. I mean, that's where you overtake on the track, down the corners, or down the straights or in the corners. But you know what I mean. I can see you typing in the comments, having a go at me. But yeah, no DRS is basically the bottom line. Makes it even harder to overtake. Makes it even more rewarding when you get the move done. It just encourages you to push even more to get the move done on the car in front and close that gap down to try and go for a move. Let's have a look and see what everyone's saying in the chat as well. Welcome everyone. Hello to those who are new. Does anyone know who hit me at turn 1? Unfortunately, I don't, but I do, but I don't. Here goes Dutchy going for trying to go for a move on. Duncan on the move on. I have no idea what just happened there, but what a move from Duncan around the outside of turn 3. Came from absolutely nowhere. I'm just going to have to watch this one back on stream because I completely missed it. Just so much grip around the outside. Beautiful stuff from Duncan, now up into 8th place and is on a charge. That's a little bit of a twitch from Liam, currently running in 4th place. Anyway, sorry, back to the chat. Where was I? Oh yes, I see who touched through turn 1. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I did see contact. But I'll have to go back and watch it. You can go back and watch it on stream. If you have your POV, if you want to make a claim, type !claim into one of the Discord chats and the stewards will deal with it. But please bear in mind, it can have implications on the championship when you do send it in. Welcome back, Piero. I don't know when you left us, but if you left us before the rain, well, it's now raining. And all the drivers are on them intermediates. Hilstedinho deciding to come into the pits for another set of inters What is the gap to the race leader? 40 seconds. It's going to be a tough job to close that gap down to the end of the race with only 12 laps to go. But not impossible. We can still have late drama, and the safety car can still get deployed. Meanwhile, the front two are just pulling away from the rest of the field. 8 seconds ahead of our pitter, who is running in third place. Pinson just can't seem to close that gap down to Tobockerin. He gets within 7-8 tenths, and then it kind of stays around that margin. Needs to be matched on pace pretty much the entirety of the race. We've got yellow flags, and that's Duncan, by the way, just as he was making good moves, and he has retired on track, and his car's kind of having a bit of a moment there in reverse. That could be a penalty for him retiring on track. I'm not sure what the consequences are for retiring on track and not in the pits. Doesn't look like it's going to bring out a safety car. The yellow flags have been cleared. We are back to green flag racing. Closest battle currently is between the front two, Tobockerin and Pinsey, two drivers who collided earlier on in the race, running 9th and 1st place respectively in the championship. This would be amazing points for Tobockerin if he can finish this race on the top step of the podium. He's never finished on the podium before this race, apart from Austria, which is where he got his first win and only win so far of the Academy League Season 5. Change of drivers between Liam and our pitter. Possible mistake or driver error from our pitter on the exit of turn 7. He's now dropped 1.2 seconds behind Liam, sorry. And Pinty is starting to close that gap down, but then it just seems to go up again to about a second, 1.1. Words, English. Just seems to be suffering from the dirty air, it seems. But you can just see how close he gets through turn 1. Now down to 5 tenths. He's got such a good run on the exit of turn 1. He's definitely closing the gap. But we are leaning ever so closer to the end of this race. And this is our closest battle on track. 4 drivers have picked up time penalties in this race. I'll display them on the screen. Sumi with 12, only one Luca Rosman with 3, Boy with 3, and our pitter also with 5. The biggest gainers in this race, Dutchy making up 6 places, Sumi up 4, a lot of drivers up 2, top 2 switching positions, and Liam maintaining position from where he qualified. Our pitter making a 4-stop strategy work, majority on either 2 or 3 stops depending on whether they stopped under the first safety car or not before the rain was introduced to the race. Our pitter seems to have dropped off the back of Liam and is now under pressure from only one Luca Rosman, who's on a charge here in these wet conditions. On lap 27 of 35, about to start lap 20. No, we're not. We are about to start lap 27. I have started lap 27. I'm too used to the GT Sport format of displaying what lap count we're on. In towards turn 1 though. Braking points are fairly similar. Our pitter's got a little bit wide. Does mean he's going to get a good run on the exit of the corner, having taken a wider line. Riding on board with only one Luca Rosman. You can just see not getting the turn in. He's trying to turn in, trying to put the throttle down as soon as he can. Takes some curb on the inside before working his way up the gears, up the hill and towards turn 4. A fast left-hander. He's gone a little bit deep, but has recovered well. Has broken a little bit early for turn 5. You don't want to hit that inside curb, otherwise you will be sent into a 360 spin. It's gaining a lot of time on our pitter though through this middle sector. Taking it cautiously through the right-left chicane of turn 6 and 7. And it's nigh on impossible to make a move at this track, but we'll have to wait and see. Only one Luca Rosman can do about it. He's gaining so much through turn 11. He's now alongside, going down the back straight in towards turn 12, and he gets the move done, but there's contact, and who is this? Sorry, Alpita. I thought it was Sumi for a second. Maintains 4th place. I need to watch that back on the stream because I was convinced only one Luca Rosman was ahead, judging by that camera angle. It looked like he had the run. It looked like he was ahead. Just Alpita broke so much later down in turn 12. At the front two, though, separated by 2-3 tenths. This could get tense towards the end of this race. There was a collision between the top two 2 weeks ago in Silverstone on the final lap, on the penultimate corner. Will we see the same events happen here today at Hungary? We have 3 battles on track, 1 for the lead, 1 for 4th, and 1 for 9th place, as that's Cheetah Boy getting ahead of Nico Zora down at turn 11 and maintains it in towards turn 12, sorry. Only one Luca Rosman's almost pushing up Hitter through turn 4. He's gone a little bit wide through turn 5. That might allow only one Luca Rosman to try some opportunistic move in towards the chicane. Isn't close enough, nor alongside to challenge for a position. Meanwhile, the front two, the gap is opening up a little bit to 5-6 tenths. We'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds going in towards turn 1. Lap 28 of 35, about to start lap 29. Both drivers going through turn 11. There's one Luca Rosman going to send one at turn 12. He's alongside. There's contact between the two. He's almost barging his way down the inside. There's a lot of wheel banging between Arpita and only one Luca Rosman. Arpita breaks late. Luca Rosman does the switcheroo, gets back up into 4th place, but they're still going to go wheel to wheel. That looked to be a bit of contact. I thought Arpita was going to be sent into a spin there, but he's been able to keep it on the track. And we now have the slipstream going down the start-finish straight. He's going to use all of his overtake in towards turn 1. Not sure he's close enough though to send one down the inside, but he's going to send one late on the brakes. That's opportunistic, and somehow they don't touch. Only one Luca Rosman takes a slightly wider line. I think you might have saw Arpita just appear in his mirrors at the last minute, and maintains 4th place for now. That kind of cost Arpita there. He's now 7 tenths, 8 tenths behind only one Luca Rosman. He's lost time on the exit of turn 1. Meanwhile, the front two separated by 5-6 tenths of a second towards the end of this race. Is it getting drier? It looks like it could be drying out here, ladies and gentlemen. What an end to the race this could be. It's still raining, but not as much as it was before. This could be the twist in the tail, the unexpected twist in the tail that we weren't expecting. Could this race dry up by the end? Are we going to get Hamilton Verstappen vibes of someone closing someone down on a faster tyre towards the end of the race? We'll just have to wait and see. Cheetah Boy trying to go for a move on Dutchy in towards turn 4. Gets the move done before the corner and up into 8th place. We've only got 10 drivers left in this race after 4 retiring, 3 in the dry, 1 of them in the wet. But 7 tenths still separating the top 2. Pinty hasn't got close enough to try and go for a move. He seems to find the time, and then just that slight mistake, and then he just drops back to the 6, 7, 8 tenths. Either that, or Tsibokaran just finds the right line, just the right grip he needs to keep himself in front and at the lead of this race. But who knows, a 3-second time penalty can change everything. And it's dry. It is dry. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the rain has stopped and the track is going to be drying up towards the end of this race. We've still got 5 laps to go. This could be drivers pitting for soft tyres in the next 2 laps. Round Austria, trust me, soft tyres can gain on intermediates in the dry conditions in 2 laps, because I've been in that position before in the last F1 event Gavra done. I think it was the 5th anniversary race at Austria, where it rained and it dried up with 2 laps to go. People pit for softs and we were able to catch up by the end of the race. We're on lap 31, the rain has stopped, but we're on the intermediate tyres on what is a wet track. This is definitely the unexpected twist in the tail that we were all hoping for. Only one Luca Rosman's into the pits. Is this for a a red striped soft compound tyre. Are we going to see the return of the slicks? We are indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Strap yourselves in, because we are going on a roller coaster of emotions here tonight. For the biggest gamble, will it work? Slick tyres on this ever so damp track. I don't think they're ready. Personally, I don't think they're ready. We've got yellow flags in the first sector. That's for only one Luca Rosman. You can see he's understeering and aquaplaning so much at turn 1. There is no grip on the slicks. It's too early. It's too early. The top four, will be able to see the delta to only one Luca Rosman. He's 20.5 seconds behind our pitter. That's now 21 seconds. You can almost count it up every 2 seconds. 22 seconds. It's not ready for the slicks. The gamble hasn't paid off. He's almost like Sebastian Vettel at Turkey when he pitted for the mediums. He's now picked up a 3-second time penalty just to add to the commiserations. The front two, though, staying out. I'm not sure it's going to dry up. I'm not sure it's going to dry up towards the end of the race. It has stopped raining, but that doesn't matter. The track is still very much wet. How much is it going to dry, though? Is that sun going to display itself? It has to do it now. If the gamble's to work, the track must dry now. Otherwise, there's not going to be enough time left in the race. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Things can change so quickly. Here goes Sumi. He's going to look for a move on only one Luca Rosman, but he's got Hilstedinho closing in right behind him. Here goes Sumi trying to go for a move. Only one Luca Rosman just has no grip. Sumi's been blocked behind only one Luca Rosman. Look what a move from Hilstedinho, who's going to try and capitalise on this. He's now going to go wheel to wheel with Sumi around the final corner. So that's only one Luca Rosman getting in the way. Then he'll go side by side through the final corner. There's contact between the two. Hilstedinho just with more grip on the intermediate tyres, and that's only one Luca Rosman. He can't find the grip on the straights, let alone down the corners. And the soft tyres, well, they were a gamble. It was a gamble worth taking, but it's not going to be worth it at the end of the day unless it dries up at the end of this lap. And he's now spun at the exit of turn 1. He's in the barrier and he's retired from this race. He's lost his front wing. Had he finished the race, he would have scored points, or a point at least, as we're now down to 9 drivers in this race. Hungary claiming the lives of many victims here tonight. Here goes Hilstedinho trying to go for a move on zooming towards turn 6 and 7, but isn't close enough to go for a move. The yellow flags have been cleared. We're back to green flag racing in the first sector, where the front two are making their way through. The two closest battles on track happening for first and 5th position. Hilstedinho is going to get this position, not having any penalties. Can he keep it on the track, though? That's the last thing he wants to do. He doesn't want to find himself in the barrier. But he is finding pace against Sumi. He pitted once again for the intermediate tyres. Everyone else has done 15, 16 laps on this tyre. Round the final corner they go. Is Hilstedinho close enough to go for a move in towards turn 1? He's going to use the back three, but so is Sumi, who's got absolutely nothing left to play with in towards turn 1. Is he going to go for a move? Not quite. The gap 3/10, but he's hit the back of him. Hilstedinho's hit the back of Sumi in towards turn 1. Doesn't look like there's any visible front wing damage. He's off onto the grass, and I'm not sure what's happened there. Maybe I lost the focus and concentration. He might actually have wing damage. It's hard to tell. It doesn't look like he's got any end plate damage. Well, that's hugely unfortunate for Hilstedinho. Judging by the delta maintaining 1.6 seconds, I don't think he's got damage, because you do lose a lot of time when you get wing damage in this game. The gap, though, out in front is down to 4 tenths, now 3.5 tenths, making their way down the start finish straight in towards turn 1. Tubokaran has the inside line covered on starting the penultimate lap of the race. Little to no grip out on the circuit at the minute. 2 tenths separating the top two on the penultimate lap. They've been on these intermediates for 17 laps. Don't count out the possibility of possible punctures as well with intermediates around this track. They're going to start to overheat as it is not raining anymore. We could see a few mistakes come into play. Here goes Hilstedinho looking for a move on Sumi, going in towards the penultimate corner. He's gone deep. Hilstedinho might try and capitalise on this. Nico Zora and Dutchy going will to will. It's getting a bit carnage with the front two getting involved as well. I can't tell who's who here in this fight. Here goes Hilstedinho around the final corner for the penultimate time in this race. He's going to use all the DRS he has to offer. He's going to tuck into the slipstream and gain down the start finish straight. He's going to pull over to the left hand side of the screen, going in towards turn one. Down the inside he goes, gets the move done up into 5th place. And does he stay ahead of Sumi? Can Sumi fight this one back? Not quite. In towards turn 2. But this battle's not going to be over just yet. We've still got one final lap left to go here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Can Tibokkerin hold off Pinty for one more lap and claim his second race win of the season? It's 4th place in the championship versus 1st place in the championship. Currently running 1st and 2nd on the track. Pinty, after starting on pole position, made contact with Tibokkerin down at turn 2, around lap 5 I think it was. The safety car helped him close down that gap. He's forced his way back through the field and now finds himself behind your race leader. Can he try anything desperate on this final lap, or is he just going to claim 2nd place and the 18 points that are on offer? He's been behind Tibokkerin for pretty much the entirety of this intermediate stint. He hasn't been able to find a response for Tibokkerin's pace. He's just been tucked in behind so close. Every time he's gone closer, he's dropped away slightly. The dirty air impacting his race. But you can't take it away from these two. It's been a phenomenal drive. Nico Zora and Dutchy, by the way, going wheel to wheel on their final lap as they some lap via the front two. But going round turn 12 for the final time here tonight, it's going to have to be a late send down the inside if you're to make a move here. But it doesn't look like there's any overtaking opportunities left for Pinty as they round the final corner. If he can keep it clean, if he can keep his throttle application A-OK, he does so with the overtake, rounds the final corner and wins here at Hungary with Pinty just under 4/10 behind. And what a stunning drive from Tibokkerin and Pinty. Liam comes across the line in 3rd place, followed by Arpita in 4th. He kind of just dropped off after an earlier mistake. Nico Zora and Dutchy finishing at 8th and 9th place respectively as Arpita rounds the final corner and finishes in 4th place. Picks up a 5-second time penalty for an unserved penalty for his collision under the safety car. Not going to matter too much though, as there is a 32-second gap to Hilstedinho behind, who tried something different with the strategy, pitting again for the intermediates, and it kind of paid off, but wasn't enough to close down the front 4 in this race, but did get ahead of Sumi towards the end of the race as he rounds out the final corner for the final time and does claim some valuable 10 points for his individual championship fight. Sumi crosses the line in 6th place, and last but not least, Tutor Boy in 7th place will finish in 7th place. But what a race it's been here tonight. 2 different races compared to Silverstone, but 2 very good races. This Academy League has been on fire this season. I didn't do the first race of the season. Ever since then, it's been a joy to commentate on and a joy to watch. And every year, it just gets better and better. Let me know who your driver of the day is in the chat, because the game is going to give it to Dutchy, by the way, who started close towards the back of the grid and worked his way up into 9th place. Lovely stuff from himself. There is your top 3. Congrats to Tibokkerin for his 2nd win of the season. Pinty gaining some points at the top though to his championship rivals, who unfortunately couldn't make it for today's race, but it is the Spaniard who comes out ahead of his Norwegian rival. It looks like we've got some Spanish fans in the chat. I do know some slight Spanish, but my skills have kind of dropped off over the last year. But here is your finishing order once again. Tibokkerin wins here at Hungary for rank number 6, and it's Pinty who will take 2nd place. Rounding up the podium is Liam 567. going down the rest of the grid, we have Arpita in 4th, Hilstedinho in 5th, Sumi in 6th, Boy in 7th, Nigozora and Duchy in 9th. Your retirees from this race, only one Luca Rosman, Duncan, Whiskey, Witzel and Cyrax all retiring from this race. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it here today. What a race, from dry to wet to a dry track, but not enough time left for the slicks to come into full course. And well, we've had everything in that race. We had dynamic weather and safety cars. What more can you ask for? But I hope you guys have enjoyed it here for the Academy. Stay tuned tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday for the Freshman, Premier and Super League races, all at Hungary. Friday we have the 12th round of GT Sport, followed by the Weekend League on the weekend, and then next week stay tuned for the Italian Grand Prix, round number 7. I believe it is at Italy. If Gavra can confirm that in the chat, that would be wonderful. The league's home track going to Italy, and then I believe after that it could be Russia. Thank you all for joining in the chat, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.